Hello, my sweet friends. I hope you are doing well, and I hope that you all enjoyed happy, healthy, and blessed Christmas and New Year. Due to some personal reasons, I did need to take a little time off from posting, and I am so grateful for your patience and understanding. I am back now though, and I have a great little Valentine loaded double pocket. This is so fast and easy to make, and I think you will be creating these for more than just holidays. I know this project was inspired by some organizing of my holiday supplies. I do plan to share a little bit of that with you, but I'll put that at the end in case you're just here for the tutorial. And if that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. I think the easiest way to create a base for these loaded pockets is to start with some bags. Now, I did pick these up from the Dollar Tree. They are not lunch bag size. I did find these in the party section, so they would be used for filling up with favors. This is a small sample of what was available, and I just picked up a couple of different colors that I thought would work for the upcoming holiday season. So I can do some for Valentine's, maybe for St. Patrick's, or for the 4th of July. And so there were many other colors there available to check out. The other great thing about these is because it's at the Dollar Tree, it's going to be a really good value to get you to the point where you can add your collection papers and all of the fun trims. So let's start with 2 bags for this base. And you can see I did decide to use those red bags. The size of this bag, before we alter it or do anything to it, is 9 1/4 by 4 5/8. And so the first step that we want to do is cut one of these bags down to 8 1/2. And then leave the full width. So I have that started. So I do need to join these together, and I want it to be very sturdy. I want to pull these tags in and out and not worry about causing any damage. So the way I am going to achieve this is to add some additional cardstock. I have this cut to be 10 inches high by 4 1/2 inches wide, and I did score that at 5 inches. And this is going to be what I connect my 2 bags with. Now, I am not adding any adhesive to this piece because once we put these into the bags and then add the adhesive on the back, they will be well secured. So what I want to do is add this to the back portion of the first bag. You can see where it is gusseted. It will have these folds. So put it into the back of the smaller bag, and then the front of the bag that will be in the back. Now, this matches pretty well. This cardstock I did as best I could. It doesn't really show too much, so I wouldn't be too concerned that it's not exact. Now, I did add some double-sided adhesive here, and so we'll just pull that backing off. Definitely want to add our 2 glue combo so that it is well secured, and just add that right alongside of the double-sided tape and fold that over. So because it's right up against that score line and these bags are the same size, this will just line up really well for you. Now, you do want to add a little pressure while that glue sets up, but the double-sided tape will hold it in place well for you so you can continue working along. So I also folded up the pockets here, and I just folded it right along where it would be the bottom of the bag. And so now you can see that we're going to have an offset pocket, and that will be good for filling it up and having all of those fun layers showing. Now, before we move on to the next step of adding the pattern paper, I want to add another layer of that cardstock to the front of this pocket. You see how this is so nice and thick and sturdy now, and it has a really good finished edge. And I want to repeat that here as well, and I can hide that inside the bag and in between the layers of the pattern paper. So my next piece is going to be 8 1/2 by 4 1/2. I still scored it at 5, and then I added a little bit of my double-sided tape here to the smaller side. And this will go into the front of the front bag. So right along where that gusset fold is, I slip that in there. And this time I just need that double-sided tape to secure it, and it will go behind the pocket. Now you can cover this portion with your first layer of pattern paper. And so I'm just picking some from my stash. These are patterns that I've already cut into, so no new paper was used for this, and this is a really great way to get through some of those offcuts. And so I have this piece cut to be 5 5/8 by 4 1/2. And so because this is 4 5/8 of an inch wide, we're gonna get a little bit of border. And so that will be very nice. Just kind of lining that up there. And you see that I did capture that cut end of the cardstock between these layers. It's getting pretty thick now, and that makes me very happy to have a very sturdy pocket so that I can take things in and out. So here are those pockets. Now I did add my double-sided tape, and once again, we do need to use that 2-glue combo. It is very important for your pockets so that they will stay well secured. So add that tape and then the glue, and I'm just gonna hold this over and give it some pressure while that sets up. I think it would be a good idea to even potentially have a heavy book so that if you're working on multiple projects, and I think you probably will be, when you see how easy these are to make, you'll be able to continue working along and you won't have to wait for any of that glue to set up. Now I want to cover these pockets as well, and so I have my first piece cut to be 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and I'll get that nice border again for this. I'm going to alternate the pink and the red, and I'm taking that inspiration from that background pattern. So here is our first pocket. I want to do the exact same thing for the front pocket. Just gonna fold that over, give it time to set up, and then finish the front of this pocket with the red. So I'm alternating them, and it will be a definitely noticeable layering pattern. So I'm just gonna hold this here for a bit. I want to cover the back with a pattern so it will be nicely finished all the way around. And before I do that, I need to add another one of those cardstock layers so that it will be sturdy and nicely finished. So this one is going to go right into the back portion of the back bag. That will just slide right into place. All the way to the top of that bag. And then I'll fold that over. This will be secured between the bag and our pattern paper. So this piece here is going to be 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. And that covers up that flap. Now when it comes to inserts, you're gonna have those 2 front pockets, and you're also gonna wind up with 2 pockets here. And I'm so happy that we added that extra thickness and finishing detail. So let's go ahead and add our inserts to the back. Once again, I am using my offcuts for this, and so I have one of the pink and one of the red dot. The cardstock for this is 6 high by 4 wide, and the pattern paper is 5 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I did cut that a little bit narrower so that they would slide in and out of that pocket easily. And I do not have it the full length because it gets a little bit bound up at the very bottom, and I want it to work well. So let's put this in here. You see how easily that went? And then we'll add the polka dot one to the bag in the back. So there is a little bit of extra room if you want to add a couple of other flat keepsakes or mementos. I wouldn't consider those pockets at all for anything dimensional because we don't want it to lose its nice crisp shape. So for the front of this, I do want to add a little bit of extra finishing detail, and I've got a arrangement of flowers that I created with my Magnolias and Lotus flowers from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I did swap out the centers of these for different stamens so that it would better coordinate. So they're gray now instead of yellow. I did add a couple of die cut glitter hearts and some twine and just one layer of die cut leaves. I've also got some trim here as bow, and this is the Coral Rose mini check ribbon. That is also from Really Reasonable Ribbon, and this is just going to stretch across the front of my pocket. And so I do want to add that with hot glue so that it will be well secured. So now I've got that into place, and I think that looks very sweet. For the front pockets, I do want to utilize some of those supplies that I found while I was cleaning and reorganizing. And so I'm going to utilize some of these image cut-aparts from previous collections that I have. I'm sure we all have stacks of these, but if you don't, you could easily just create some inserts with pattern paper, or I recommend checking out my shop. I have many printables that will work well for this project, and then you would just print them and cut them out and use them as your insert. So I've got 4, and I want to add 2 of these for each of these pockets. And you can see they are sliding in very well. They're very secure. The last detail that I want to add are these hearts. Now, I'll share with you when we get to that portion at the end for organizing, but these were tags that came on a package of goodie bags. So they were the clear bags that you would put your Valentine treats in, and they also had some kind of red bread ties you would think you would close up that bag with. I decided not to use that, but I did want to finish the back. And so this was a thick cardstock, but it was kind of brown on the back, and I wanted it to better coordinate. So I just added a layer of the heart pattern paper. And then you can see I've also added an eyelet here, some beautiful pearl pink ribbon. This is taffeta ribbon, and some twine. That way I could pull this tag in and out and not worry that that ribbon would pull through the paper. So let's put one here. I'm just going to sort of arrange these so that my ribbon fills up this space nicely. You see I have some on either side, and that makes it look like a nice full loaded pocket. So that's it for today, and you can see how quickly that came together. I would say working time to assemble this and film it and try to make sense when I talked was about 10 minutes. And so I think this is a really good use it up project. It's a really good kid project, and if you want to make multiple of these, that would be so fast and easy. And I do think you will enjoy making these for other holidays or occasions as well. So that's it for the tutorial, and if you're interested in the organization portion, just stay tuned till after the outro and I'll share that with you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, let me know in the comments and give me a big thumbs up for this video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join my crafty little family. You can find links for the ribbon trims and all of our social medias in the description below, so check that out. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. I thank you so much for watching. I do store my holiday supplies in these shallow drawers. This is a 3-drawer unit from Sterilite, and they're just really affordable and easy to use. And so I had quite a lot of Valentine things I went through, and I destashed some of it, but I really wanted a project where I could just really get into some of these holiday items. And so for this top drawer, I've got some of these sticker packs. These are various collections from Simple Stories, and I've had these over the years. I've got some die cuts in here. I've got them pretty well organized, and some stickers. This is the bags that I mentioned that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. This is the set that had those tags with them, and so you would just fill this with your treats and then put that heart on the bread tie to close it up. And I've also got some paper ones. This is those heart, I'm calling them tags, but I believe they consider them to be labels. And so they did already have that hole punched and then the darker background. So I did finish those with some additional layers and made it so that they would be sturdier to pull in and out of the pocket. So I did get through a couple of those, and that makes me happy. Now this is the stack of cutter parts I mentioned. Like, these just pile up, and if you don't use them before you go through the collection papers, they do tend to pile up. And so I wanted to have projects where I could use many of them, and so I was able to put 4 into those 2 small pockets in the front. So that makes me pretty happy. And then I have straws, and I always buy them. I never use them, but they just make me happy to have. For this drawer, I just have my paper packs for Valentine's Day. There's a couple different sizes in here, but I do have these like 6x6 paper pads, and then the Martha Stewart one is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So they all kind of fit in here. Now this is not any of my 12 by 12, the collections that I have, but I do like to just have these kind of organized in a way where I can go back through and look through these easily. And then this last drawer is because I've never met a bag of hearts in a store that I didn't like. And so I do tend to pick them up, even though I definitely don't need them. But I put the different styles in different glassine bags so that I can sort through them easily. Some are glitter. Those are the ones that I used to finish my floral arrangement for the front of the pocket. And then I do have some larger ones that are felt here in the back, and some sequins, and these which came from the Dollar Tree, and they're like a balsam wood with a chalkboard front. So that is all of these supplies, and I did mention earlier I was able to purge some items to make these fit and make things easier to find in these drawers. So I hope that inspires you to check from your own supplies and work on projects that helps you go through quite a lot of them so that you can make room if you find something new. Okay, so that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.